It's been a long time since I did these type of streams. But hello everybody. We're doing scary stories. By the way, just to clear any confusion in the title, SSS stands for Scary Story Saturday. Is basically what it means. Alright, now the store is open. There we go. I got three. I don't know if I want to do this just my room right now. Or if I don't even do all this. Or I could just do creepypastas in my own stories. Okay, that works. Nice. Hi, Midnight. How you doing? This is a friendly reminder for myself to update the follower goal thing, because I forgot to put the day that I completed the 251. I'm going to bring her up to bed. Aww. I'm guessing it's nap time with the little. Good night, Midnight. There you go. Alright. Oh, I was about to say, forget what I have. I'm curious about this one. Just Smiling Jane Doe. I'm curious. Let me read this one. By the way, Jane Doe is to call an anonymous female found by the police. The male equivalent is John Doe, by the way. The male equivalent is John Doe. Okay. Wait, there you go. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. Sorry. Alright. Smiling Jane Doe. Let's see. At no point during the night was she more than half a mile from the police station, but the park was thinly lit and the road snaked through the forest in both directions. I took a personal interest in her story after I learned about how badly her body had been mutilated. Hi, Sharky. How's it with that? The details continue to flood in, and I'm still working on. And I'm still working to tease apart. I think they meant piece. I think they meant tear apart. To tear apart the evidence. What is undeniably clear is that a killer still roams free. He's out there somewhere, and he's stalking new victims in neighborhoods that I call home. For this reason, I can for now only initiate many of the things that I know. To reveal certain details would be to appoint a target on my back. So they cannot be shared. They cannot be shared here. With that said, here are the facts as I understand them about that night that Smiling Jane Doe died. Night, I sleep. Good night, Sharky. They named her that way because her lips had been peeled away with a blade. It was her bared teeth, glinting like wet porcelain in the dawn's light. The first drew the attention of the jogger who discovered her body. The park where she died is a famous one, and Smiling Jane Doe was not the first woman to be murdered there. I fear putting too a fine point on the location on this place. So let's just say that this park is located inside my nation's capital. You have likely heard this park's name before. Locals will be glad if you tell them about how the unlit road winds deceptively through the wilderness, and how those same roads become especially treacherous at night. They may also mention how the bridges arch high over the lower roads beneath. These are the sort of bridges that make push and fall murders appear neatly like suicides. Smiling Jane Doe was from out of town. She was likely in the city that weekend just to take in the sights. Sorry, my friend texted. I got distracted. Let me respond back to her as I'm reading this. Ow, I put my back. Okay. No abandoned car was ever found that could be tied to her. If at some point she had been carrying a purse or a wallet with an ID inside it, then it seemed that the killer took that clue to identify to her identity with him. We can't yet guess. We can't yet guess. We can't yet guess on how or why. Excuse me. She had traveled to the district, or where it was that Jane called home before she died. It's possible that she was hitchhiking and found herself here entirely by chance. Or instead, Jane may have been traveling. I'm sorry. Or instead, Jane may have been visiting this place deliberately. Maybe she traveled here with a happier purpose in mind for herself, and simply remained outside a little too late after dark. Here are the events of that night, as plainly as accurate as I could describe them. Smiling Jane Doe tried to flag down a car that was traveling through the park at approximately 10:40 p.m. The car's driver was a female in her late 30s, and this crucial witness unfortunately continued down the road without stopping her vehicle. The driver would state later that she barely saw smiling Jane Doe there in the darkness. It did not notice her until the victim was close enough to narrowly avoid being hit by the car. In this particular park, and especially at that time of night, no driver could be judged too harshly for refusing to stop for a stranger. After all, carjacking sometimes began with the false premise of a woman in need of help. Or a witness driving past was a mother of three young children. I hold no ill will against her for making that choice. As the car disappeared around the bend of the road, smiling Jane Doe fled instead into the thickly forest of the park. She was trying to lose her attacker, and a dripping trail of blood across the road indicates that her pursuer had already made some progress in causing her harm. If she had pressed a little further into the woods, she might have caught the lights of the consulate building. Caught the lights of the consulate buildings on the far side of the park. There was security personnel there, and they were surely keeping watch all night. They could have saved her easily, had she made it far enough to be seen. Unfortunately, at some point, Jane doubled back the way she came. I believe she did so in an attempt to lose her pursuer. The night would turn out to be a litany of heartbreaking moments in this way. Jane Doe came so close to salvation more than a dozen times, but split-second decisions are rarely the wisest ones. This is especially true when someone is in mortal terror. Smiling Jane Doe squandered her chances to survive, and each time she didn't realize what she had done. Any one of us might have suffered precisely the same streak of bad luck, and especially on a night like that. She found more winding roads as she pressed through the trees, but she couldn't guess where she now stood in relation to the rest of the twisting roadways in the park. Jane followed the paths to one of the park's elevated bridges. As one mentioned before, these bridges loom fatally tall over the ground beneath them. They are kind of structures that can make murders look like accidents or suicides. It was at that point that Jane spotted an ambulance speeding over the bridge from the opposite direction. She attempted to make the vehicle stop, but the ambulance was already responding to a crucial situation of the northwest of the city. It continued on without her, and would soon arrive at the scene of another gruesome homicide. I believe, in fact, that Smiling Jane Doe's killer had 2 victims that night, but the details of his earlier murder are a story for another time. For now, I intend to honor Jane Doe by somberly describing the facts of her death alone. She was alone on the bridge once more as the ambulance sped away. I believe Jane Doe then saw her killer approaching from the shadows. She likely considered jumping from the bridge, hoping perhaps to end the awful pursuit once and for all by plunging to her death. This assumption is supported by the bloody footprints that were found on the bridge's upper railings. Trace evidence that's evidence like left behind like a handprint, footprint, something like that. Trace evidence suggests that she decided at the last moment against sleeping. She continued on with footfalls that indicate a sprint. She was fleeing down the road. At this point, it bears mentioning that Smiling Jane Doe was indeed barefoot, and that she was bleeding from her feet due to the loss of shoes. I believe that our unknown killer confiscated Jane's footwear simply to torment her. Evidence indicates that he did a great many things that night which were intended to prolong the chase of this human quarry. I believe that our killer caught up to Jane Doe several times before she reached the roadblock. He would injure Jane in some new way each time, or else do something that restricted her movement on foot. This is why he took her shoes. He let Smiling Jane Doe continue to attempt to flee at least 4 separate times. It sickens me. Oh, hold on, sorry. It sickens me to this day to consider it. The DNA evidence collected from Jane Doe's body, and it indicates that she met two distinct assailants before her death. It's in my theory, after fleeing from the bridge, Jane Doe found a pedestrian walking along the dark road in the opposite direction. I suspect that he was moving up the road towards the bridge when she found him. Jane Doe must have begged him for help, and I can only imagine the horror that she felt to learn that the pedestrian was in fact an accomplice of the killer. Accomplice is somebody who works with the killer. A suspect and is in charge of it. From psychological profiles, I feel confident that the second man toyed with Smiling Jane Doe before revealing that he understood exactly what kind of peril she was in. I believe that he restrained Jane Doe and allowed the killer to catch up to her once again at his leisure. It was at this point that our killer was most likely carved out her eyes. Police reports indicate that exhausted road flares are found on either side of the road where the mutilation of Smiling Jane Doe likely began. This would imply that the killer and his accomplice built a fake roadblock, probably an impassable elimination. I think we made elimination of a city-authorized detour. They were preventing traffic from flowing naturally to the park. In doing so, they ensured that no witnesses would enter the road where they tormented Jane Doe in her last moments. The spirals and aimless trails of dried blood at this location imply that our killers allowed Jane to continue trying to flee from them. They let her keep attempting to save her life for most of another hour. Now blinded, Jane could not navigate the dense underbushes and trees. If by some chance she managed to wander too far up or down roadway, it would be a simple matter for either the killer or his accomplice to shove her back towards the center of their sick arena. On the night I learned most of the details, I remember praying that there was nothing more to be discovered. I asked God for my research to prove that she simply bled to death there. It would mean at least that Jane experienced no more fear, and that she felt nothing when they cut away the skin of her face. The coroner's report would grant me no such mercy. However, Smiling Jane Doe was given drugs to keep her awake. Her mind likely understood and bore witness to those last moments of her life, even more vividly than the killer himself can claim to remember them. No family ever came forward to claim Smiling Jane Doe. How could anyone guess that their daughter had ended up that way? If you were told, could you even accept it? I went to see her in the city morgue before she was incinerated. Ever since then, I have worked daily with investigators to bring her killer to justice. What was done to her cannot go unanswered. The details I have excluded here have been excluded deliberately. This has been done to protect the dignity of the dead. There is more, yet besides that remains unknown, even to me. Let it be known, I have absolutely no plans to take my own life. I do not intend to die in a certain park that will not be named, but can certainly be guessed. If I am found dead in that particular park, then it means that the killer has learned something about me before I was able to learn something about him. I do not intend for that to happen, though. I will do my best to outwit him. There are far too many unhappy ghosts in this strange patch of wilderness already, and I do not wish to join them. By the grace of God, may my work help Smiling Jane Doe find peace. I won't lie and say that did give me some goosebumps. That did give me some goosebumps. I was not expecting that. And that gave me goosebumps. Whew. Mall walker. Section's mall walker. I'm kind of curious about mall walker. Actually, see, I feel like I want to do this. I kind of want to bounce it back and forth between creepypasta and my stories, so it could be a fair balance. Oh, I should probably say this now. By the way, this isn't gonna be a very long stream because I do have work in the morning, so this isn't gonna be a long stream. So this isn't gonna be a long stream. We'll do 9. Okay. Okay. This is one of mine, so here we go. Okay. Have you heard of the curse of a ghost kiss? No? Well, sit back, grab yourself some popcorn, and listen. This curse is not to be joked around with. is one of the most fatal curses mankind has seen. One kiss, and you're simply a memory, forgotten, dead. You don't believe me? Laugh all you want. 'Cause I'm not fucking around here. This ghost. He goes by the name of Draco. He was no older than 15 years of age when he was cursed to have this. He was dating a beautiful woman, Nora. She was his age. Her skin smooth as silk, voice like a songbird, hair long as the ring of a woman, and eyes as purple as the amethyst shining in the sun. Draco and Nora were the happy couple everyone sees around and aspires to be. At least that's what they saw them as. Draco was known as a womanizer, dating women just for his pleasure and to satisfy his lustful nature. One night when Nora was coming home from a party with some friends, Draco called her and confronted her, saying he was yearning for her to come back. He was yearning for her to come back home, and that he was worried sick and why she wasn't home. Nora yelled back that she's an independent woman and she can handle herself. The argument lasted for a couple of hours. Then the unforeseeable happened. He hung up. He drove to her with the biggest kitchen knife he could find. He showed to Nora's house and stabbed Nora directly in the thigh, cutting skin from the thigh down. He then slit her throat and ripped her skin off her throat, showing nothing but bone. Nora fell on her hands and knees, tried to breathe, but she couldn't. She began chanting an incantation in a language no human knows. Before Draco knew it, the room was filled with the tornado of blood, the sound of screaming and the smell of sulfur. Nora arose to her feet and standing next to her, what looked like a ghost. He held a book in his hand with a demonic language impossible to read. It looked like he had died a warlock. His eyes were blood red, scars on his face. He would come to know it was her father. He was told before that Nora's father had died in a car accident before she was born, so she never met her father. So to see him in ghostly flesh startled him. "Young Draco," he said in a booming voice, "you've attempted to kill my daughter in front of me?" "No," Draco said with fear in his voice. No, if I had known you were watching, I wouldn't have known. Wait. Daughter? Yes, Draco. God, why did I write this so cheesy? Yes, bleh, sorry. Yes, Draco. In a flash of light, Nora was transformed into her true form. A ghost. I am a ghost. You can't kill the undead. But you were alive. The Nora you knew was an illusion someone made up. No, that can't be. That can't be. I just stabbed you. And the times I kissed you. You never questioned why my lips and my body were always felt cold to the touch. But I don't understand. Exactly. Because you're too much of a dumbass to actually understand. Draco, the father started. For your foolishness, I curse you to have the ghost kiss. Father. Nora muttered. This curse will last for eternity. There is no reverse. There is no redemption. Once this curse is inflicted on you, you can't get rid of it. But Father, he needs to be a ghost to have the ghost kiss. Exactly. Which is why I'll do this. Nora's father struck the blade through Draco's chest, directly through the heart. And from the heart, he dragged the knife down Draco, splitting him in half. He retracted the knife, pulling out Draco's beating heart. That was pierced through the knife. In a fit of satisfaction, he took a bite of Draco's heart, then devoured it whole. He patted his stomach in satisfaction and let out a terrifying laugh that could be heard throughout the whole house. Draco's mortal body collapsed on the floor, eyes open and bloodshot, hands trembling and torso all bloody and bruised up and cut and in half. Draco's ghost soon left his body and joined Nora and her father. The ghost kiss is now active. If anyone kisses you, they will be killed. He vanished from the room, and Nora soon followed. Draco floated around some time. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't help but cry his dead eyes out. His rashness have resulted in his life being taken. He not only fell for the trap of the ghost touch, but he got cursed with a fatal kiss. The touch of a ghost is impossible to endure. Once they touch your bare skin, the feeling is forever under your skin. His touch is cold as ice. When he strokes your cheek, you're stuck in his trance. It'll put you in a spell. It's almost like a love spell. The touch of a ghost is strong. One kiss and you're forever his. Don't kiss his frozen lips. You will join him and have the touch of a ghost. Ever since that day, Draco's been flying around the world, searching for a new woman to make his target. So be careful. If you feel an ice-cold sensation somewhere on your body, you better pray you get out of there alive. Before Draco's touch and kiss gets you first. I really need to edit the story, because I'm gonna make it with the honest, that was mad cringy. I need to change. I need to freaking update this story. Okay, let's try this one. Mall Walker. This one I'm very interested in. Okay. This is Mall Walker. Okay. Alex grumbled as she lumbered upright upright in her bed. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Her eyes glanced into the empty space next to her. Before she stood slowly heading to the bathroom. Once inside, she checked her phone. Wanting to see the weather that day. Hey, Otto, how's it going? Slight overcast chance of rain in the afternoon. A typical spring day. Alex nodded to herself, planning her day as she finished her morning routine. Moving to the sink, she jumped as her foot kicked into a small metallic object as it loudly skid and clanged its way across the tiled floor. She spotted the culprit of the noise and smiled. A penny. Same penny that has been on the floor for months now. I just got home. Kids saying me to listen. Alright. Okay. Whoa, hold on, Alex. She remembered Tom saying when she initially went to pick it up. It's lucky to find a penny. Why not leave it there? It's kind of like in case of needing emergency luck thing. In her current state, she could recount plenty of times where she would want a little more luck than the morning. A little more luck, sorry. The morning she receives the call. The day of the funeral. Pretty much every damn day afterwards. But something in her refused to pick up the penny. So wrapping up her morning routine, she threw on some jogging clothes and left the house, heading to the bus stop. It was Sunday, and Alex had her routines. The closest to peace Alex felt anymore was on her son's Sunday walks. Something about the mall's aesthetic, the soft colors, the music lingering in the air, belted out by some outdated audio system, brought an aura of calm to her being. Sitting by the window on the bus, she wondered how many times she'd have left. She'd wondered how much time she'd have left to do her Sunday walks. The mall barely had any foot traffic as is, besides the elderly. It'd only be a matter of time before the place is bought out and bulldozed. She mused as the Mellow Oaks Plaza rolled into view. It's a flat moat stretching around the building, waiting for the droves of people who will never come. Sunday mornings were particularly quiet, as the regulars were all off at church, basically giving Alex the place to herself. Stepping through the front door, she took a deep breath, taking in the faint scent of perfume, pretzels, and cleaning supplies. Right by the main entrance was a vitamin store, where she marked each lap in her head. Her plan was the same as always. 5 laps, break, 5 laps like clockwork. So she began to move at a steady pace, focusing on her breathing, clearing her thoughts. Her footsteps echoed off the white tiles. The skylight above, illuminating the rows of shuttered stores and empty display cases. She fell into a rhythm, nodding occasionally as she passed someone by. Originally, she hated. Sorry, Blue scared me. Originally, she hated them all, but Tom insisted it was sliced in nostalgia, as if time forgot that they existed, as he would say. Tears welled in her eyes, missing him now more in the moment than normal. Wiping the tears from her eyes, she paused for a moment. Strange, she thought. I should have passed the vitamin shop by now. Maybe I took a turn I don't usually do. She shook her head at herself. Walking a bit further, she noticed one of the large mall maps in the middle of the hall. She moved closer to scan the store's names for the vitamin shop. After scanning the full map 3 times, she frowned her brow. It's not there. It must be an old map. Probably too costly to update it with whatever shop manages to buy space for a few months. As she moved away from the map, however, her eyes read something that took a moment to process. But when she did, she froze. Welcome to Oceanside Mall. Oceanside? What? Did this mall used to be called something else? No, that name doesn't even make sense. We're a landlocked state. Alex tries to rack her brain for a possible explanation. Maybe I just find someone to ask directions, she decided. As she walked, however, a sense of dread began to fill her. beyond the closed shutter and empty mall spaces and abandoned kiosks. No one else was there. She stopped for a moment to listen, to see if she could hear any far speaking or footsteps. The only noise she heard was her own breathing. Creepy. Give me goosebumps. Excuse me, sorry. The only noise she heard was her own breathing and the faint sound of the bomb missile drifting through the air. She quickened her pace a bit. Hopefully to find someone around. Turning the corner, her eyes went wide. Sorry. Turning the corner, her eyes went wide. Christmas decorations. She squinted to try to better focus from a distance. Seeing what looked to be people by the decorations. Hello? Alex heard herself call out, breaking the eerie silence of the mall. The silence pushed back as the people didn't move. She inched closer, wondering why no one's taken down the decorations by now. She cursed under her breath and laughed at herself upon getting closer. They were mannequins, displaying various winter fashions. She took a seat on an elegant chair, probably designed for a mall Santa, to regain her bearings. Every direction she looked stretched a corridor that turned before she could see the end of it, with no exit signs plain to see. Alex pulled out her phone and noticed she was receiving no bars, as if she was miles into a secluded wood. There were too many weird things going on for Alex to remain calm at this point. Something was wrong. Looking up into the faces of the mannequins only seemed to confirm her feelings of unease. They were all looking in the same direction. The way she just came from. In this moment, two things became clear to her. The gentle mall music was getting louder and louder, and someone or something was making its way down the corridor. A sigh of relief escaped her lips. Finally, someone else. Don't know how I'll explain to them. Don't know how I'll explain to them. I'm lost in a mall. Alex thought to herself in a lightly chiding way. She hopped off the chair and began to walk to the sound. As she walked closer, the music seemed to get louder. Yet, yet still retained an ethereal sense of being overhead. Floating through the air, Alex froze when she spotted something far down the hall. Its loud steps echoing on the tall mall walls. Immediately, it was clear that whatever was slinking down the row of shuttered shops, it wasn't human. Huge. The shape was hunched over, walking on all fours, its muscle-bound frame taking measured steps down the corridor. Later, Alex would reflect that it looked like a hairless werewolf. Sleek, strong muscles in a weary, long frame. In the moment, however, Alex couldn't perceive what she was looking at. Something was wrong with its face. Alex ducked behind an empty mall stall, peeking out to get a better look as it approached. Her breath hitched as she was able to see it clearer. From the neck up, the creature had the face of a marble bust, like Michelangelo's David or Augustine's Thinker. The skin was shimmering under the fluorescence like it was made of polished stone, and not even an inch of its face moved. The eyes didn't blink, the mouth didn't move, but it moved its head around as it patted its way closer, as if looking for something. Alex didn't plan on sticking around, quietly making distance from the creature as she could, scrambling behind objects whenever it turned its head away. At its closest, Alex could confirm that the music that she had thought was playing from some unseen overhead speaker emanated from this creature's body, like a sweat from a pore. Even when it was a few feet away, the music still felt distant, out of reach, each elevator tune carrying its calm melody as the beast stalked forward. Alex held her breath as the beast paused, lifting its head for a moment to survey the area before plodding forward. Minutes felt like decades, until she felt it was far away to begin moving again. Deciding it's probably best to try to retrace her steps, going into the direction that the beast came from. Upon turning the corner of the corridor, she was sure she came from. However, she was met with a new sight that had her blood run cold. It was a car in the middle of the mall atrium. The skylight echoed. The skylight above echoing the pitter patter of the rain. But it wasn't a brand new car. like you would see in a mall, like you would see in a mall giveaway. It was his car, Tom's car. She recognized it immediately. It looks just like how how it did the day she was called out to confirm it was his. The front of the car crunched inward, a bent, cracked windshield hiding the interior of the car from her view. She shuddered. A wave of nausea hitting her violently. She turned away quickly, shutting her eyes tight. She could feel her heart racing. It's not real. I need to keep moving, she thought to herself. Opening her eyes again, she kept her sights straight ahead, leaving the mangled wreck only in her peripheral. Hurriedly, she rushed past the vehicle, stopping only when it sounded like a knock on the vehicle door, coming from the inside. By now, she was shaking. Her nerves fried out. Every fiber of her being either wanted to rush to the car or rush forward and never stop running. But she couldn't figure out which one it was. As she was locked in place from her fearful indecisiveness, she didn't realize the overhead music, mall music, had faded away. Until a voice took its replacement instead, sounding like a classic radio music jockey coming from the mangled wreck. Alright, folks, that was another classic song for you all. Well, everyone, I know you've been waiting for a special giveaway at the top of the hour here. We'll call up the lucky winners on our hotline. So if you hear your name called and hear your phone ring, pick up. You won't want to miss what we have for you. Our first winner of the line today will be Alex. Let's go ahead and call her now. Alex's phone demolished the silence of the empty mall around her. The ringtone loudly broadcasting her location. She fumbled to silence her phone. Galloping, brush steps clattered down the hall, growing in intensity and volume with each second. Alex ducked on the side of the mangled wreck, holding her breath, hoping this thing didn't know where she was. The faint music returned. Claws scrabbled the tiles as the beast lurched forward into the open space. Alex lifted her head enough to see the thing searching, hunting for her. Alex calmed herself, noticing the rear view mirrors of the passenger seats. Passenger side hung loose by a few wires. Slowly pulling it off, She chucked the broken mirror down in one of the mall hallways, buying herself some time when the beast scrambled after the noise. Moving away from the wreck, she didn't spend too much time looking inside looking into the vehicle itself. She tried to ignore it. She tried to ignore that. It looks like something was in the driver's seat, and worse, it seemed to move. There was nothing in there that she wanted to seeing it. Seeing it once was enough. She already saw it each time she had a nightmare. After the coast was clear, Alex continued down one of the corridors, hoping to retrace her steps, or maybe find something familiar. She kept telling herself that there had to be a way out. The further she moved down the hall, the less recognizable the names of the store became. The less recognizable the names of the stores became. Familiar department stores were side-by-side stores with weird names. Al's Legendary Meadery, Shoe Empress. The visuals inside were simple, mundane stores, betraying their strange titles. She was busy to decipher a sign in unrecognizable language when she saw something move from the corner of her eye. Alex spun her head, seeing the top of someone's head behind a store counter. Hello? Who's there? She quickly grabbed a metal bar from the clothes rack. Come out. Arms raised in a non-threatening manner, an older woman stepped out from behind the counter. Flecks of gray scattered through her short black hair. Easy, miss. Don't hurt me. I didn't know if you were human or not human. Like that thing walking around. Have you seen it? Alex kept her newfound weapon at the ready. The woman nodded. It's hard to not see it. Some sort of nightmare creature. She eyed the weapon, then Alex. I'm no threat, miss. I'm just trying to find her way out of this godforsaken place. Alex visibly relaxed, but only slightly. How long have you been here for? The woman shook her head. My guess, about a day or so. You're the first soul I've seen around here. I don't think most people don't live too long whenever we are here. Alex and the woman both tensed for a brief moment. The slow creep of the soft mall echoing in the halls. The noise faded away. allowing both of them to breathe again. So, no way out then? Alex finally spoke up when she felt the coast was clear. The woman shrugged, moved out of the store, and motioned for Alex to follow. Not that I've seen, but I haven't seen the place of them all twice. Even if I double back. Why are we even here? What happened? Alex kept close to the woman as their steps echoed through the hall. Mannequins in various states and eras of the clothing was scattered around them, dynamically posed. Alex kept her eyes on them, looking for a sign of movement. Look, miss. Alex. Right, Alex. Martha. She motions to her briefly, right before continuing her train of thought. Why on God's green earth do you think I'd have a clue on why we're here? Wherever here is. One moment mall, next this place. That's it. I got nothing. No more than you do. Alex nodded, feeling foolish. Right. Sorry. Martha's voice became softer. It's alright. It's alright. Two's better than one, right? I'm sure we'll figure this out in no time. For a moment, it sounded like Martha was talking more to herself than to Alex. Alex smiled. Though the smile never made it to her worried eyes. Sure. The hallway opened up to a new atrium. Instead of a car ripped straight from Alex's memories, in the middle of the space sat a hospital room. It was as if someone took everything from a hospital room. The furniture, flooring, lighting, get-well cars, and flowers, and dropped it directly in the middle of the mall. There was a certain surrounding, but it would appear to be a hospital bed. Behind the curtain, in the bed, the outline of a human shape sitting up was clear as day. Alex didn't recognize any of this, but the way Martha's movement suddenly stopped and the sharp gasp that fled her mouth told Alex this scene wasn't made for her. Alex grabbed onto Martha's shoulder and shook her head. Martha? Martha seemed relaxed slightly. I know. This is my first time seeing something in here for me. It's still just a little surprising, you know? It's just like I remember it. There was a pang of sadness in her voice. I think they meant something else. Seeing a piece of her life laid bare. I hoped I wouldn't see something like this. The two women began to move towards the corridor of across the atrium, keeping their distance from the hospital scene. Just as the two had moved past the bed, there came a raspy voice from behind the curtain. Martha? Martha? Where are you? Each word punctured by a pained heave of breath, like air was being forced into someone. Martha froze and stared back at the curtain. Alex grabbed her arm, trying to pull her along. Martha, no! But something in Martha's eyes showed a tiredness that is only built through years of regret and grief. She shrugged Alex's hand off her. Gerald, I'm sorry. Martha moved towards the curtain. Alex panicked. Martha, no! There's nothing for you in there! She hissed. She had no way of knowing for sure, but something in her told her that Martha was making a mistake. The slow sound of music waved through the air, followed by the sound of the animal's nails on a tile. Lick, lick, lick. Martha turned to Alex and sighed with a simple broken smile. Ain't much out there for me anymore, Martha, either. Martha grabbed the curtain and we had to pull it away to reveal what's inside. Alex ran. She ran across the atrium, only stopping at the start of the hallway to look back. There was Martha, smiling stupidly, warmly at whatever was in that hospital bed, tears streaming down her face. The ambience of the music grew, and there was the beast with the statue head, hunched facing Martha. It closed the grip quickly, skittering across the atrium with ferocity, muscles taut yet unchanged. Alex flinched when this beast dug its nails into Martha. From afar, Alex could hear one gasp from Martha before she saw her body go stiff in the beast's arms. It held her like this for a moment, before it dropped Martha as she shattered to the floor. Clattered. The sound of plastic hitting tile. Alex could only stare on in horror as the thing that was once Martha, now some storefront mannequin, sat lifelessly on the floor, faceless, frozen. Frantically, Alex sprinted down the corridor away from the scene, knowing she'd be next. Her eyes darted all over for a place to hide, but the emptied stores provided no cover, and the shuttered ones provided no way. It felt hopeless. Each turned down a corridor with another stretch of a dead mall, the noise behind her increasing in volume. The music continued to drift all around her. The echoing of claws clearly a galloping gait. Click clunk, click clunk, click clunk. Tired, she forced her legs to move, despite no energy left. Her chest was in pain. Tears formed at the corners of her eyes. and she shut them too. She shut them hard. To focus all of her energy on moving forward. It was right behind her. She could hear it. The relentless noise of the muscle and claws scratching against the tiled floor. Something made contact with the back of her shirt. "No, please!" she screamed, throwing herself forward. She ran at something soft. "Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus, lady. Watch where you're running, goddamn mall walkers." A man sprawled onto the floor next to Alex, his phone skidding across the floor. Alex quickly looked around, panicked, and found himself in front of the vitamin shop. The windowed exit doors of the mall, sitting a few feet away, like a lighthouse on an endless ocean. Alex barely mumbled an apology as she scrambled to the exit. Her breathing shuddered as she took in the warm air from stepping outside. She could barely think straight on the way home, using muscle memory to get back. She stepped into her home, barely keeping herself together. Shakily, she headed into the bathroom, splashed water on her face, took a hot shower. She wasn't sure. In the mirror, she inspected herself, trying to make sense of how much of what she went through was real. Glancing at the back of her shirt, she took it off, and immediately dropped it on the floor with a squeak of horror when she noticed the large claw-shaped tears across the back. She crumbled to the floor by the bathroom and sobbed. Through the tears, she noticed something glimmering on the title as her tears fell. The penny. She picked it up and clutched it to her chest. Desperately, her wills and fears and relief amplified by the small bathroom space. The album was pretty good. And I just looked at the time. I do need to pick up early, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to stop here. Oh boy. Let's stop on a raid. Oh, Streaky's on. See if I can read to my friend Streaky. Streaky. Yes. There we go. Yay, again. Yay. Okay. Okay. We're gonna read it to my friend Streaky. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream and got a good scare out of it. Hope you guys enjoy. The schedule's gonna be coming out tomorrow, and like I said, I will see you guys next stream, which is most likely tomorrow. Like after I get off work. But I will see you guys later. Bye.